In this video, I'm going to show you 5 ways that you can animate your storyline slides and slide content. Maybe you've been animating slides the same way, and hopefully this will give you some new ideas. One of my favorite features that Articulate has come out with in the past few years is the Morph transition in Storyline. Morph is a transition between slides, and when you have two items on two different slides, but it's the same item, it can move from slide to slide. If we take a look at this example, when I click on some of our offerings here at Yukon Learning, you can see that the things that I click on move, and that little arrow points to up. If I click on it again, it moves back down and that arrow flips back down. There's always different ways that you can build things in Storyline, but this is just a morph transition between 4 slides. Let me show you how this works. Under the hood here in Storyline, I have my starting slide, that main menu that a learner would first see when they get to this slide. And it's pretty simple. It only has 3 items on it, Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3, and some lines in between those groups of items. All that's in those groups are a rectangle with some text in it and that little arrow icon. Each of those groups are set to jump to another slide when the user clicks on them. If we go into our Storyline application workshop, when the user clicks on that group 2, it will take them to this Storyline application workshop slide. And there's some new content on here. There are some images. There's also some text with the description of our Storyline application workshop, but the rest of this content is exactly the same. My shapes and my arrow icons are the exact same as they were on the previous slide. All I did was take that main menu slide, duplicate it, move those items to where I wanted them to go, and then come up to my Transitions tab and add the Morph transition in between those two slides. I then just duplicated the Storyline application workshop slide 2 more times, once for our Storyline basic training and once for our creating accessible e-learning in Articulate. So I end up with 3 content slides, and they all have the morph transition in them. All I have to do with these slides is create the triggers to jump in between those slides when the user clicks on any of those groups. I also had to create a trigger to go back to the main menu slide if they clicked on the group of the content they were currently on. For example, here in the Creating Accessible e-learning, if they were to click on that item again, well, they're already on that slide. So I want to take them back to the main menu where everything is closed up. These slides are really simple because they need minimal triggers. The hardest part of working with the morph transition is getting your initial slide looking the way you want it to look, because then you're just going to keep duplicating it and moving the content around. The next idea is to have content pop onto your screen. I'll click play and take a look at the cards that appear.
In this course, you'll learn about our company policies, benefits, time off, and the software we use to make it all happen.
This slide uses a combination of entrance animations and emphasis animations. I have a blank slide so I can show you how it works. I'll just take this first card here, my policies card, and paste it onto this slide. We'll paste special so that we don't end up with any of the source animations. I've got this card on my slide, and it's just a simple rectangle, and inside the normal state of it, it has an icon and the word policies. It doesn't do anything, and it currently doesn't have any animations associated with it. To get this rectangle to do that popping entrance animation, I first need to add an entrance, and then I'm going to add some emphasis animations. We're going to go up to the Animations tab and start with the entrance animation. And the entrance animation is really easy. It's just a zoom entrance animation that's really short at only 0.1 seconds. If I preview this slide, you'll see that it is going to zoom onto the screen, and that happens really fast. Now I need it to get a little bit larger than that intended size and pop back to its normal size. And for that, I need the emphasis animations. We'll start with the grow emphasis animation. When I select grow, I'm also going to make this one really short at zero point 0.1 seconds. And Storyline automatically creates a trigger anytime you add an emphasis animation, but it wants that trigger to be when the user clicks on that item. I want this emphasis to happen when it's done doing its entrance animation. So instead of when the user clicks, I'm going to change this to when the animation completes, and Storyline knows the only other animation is the entrance. If we preview this again, it zooms onto the screen and then it grows to a larger size. Now I need to get it back to its regular size after it's done doing the grow emphasis animation. Still on my animations tab, we'll add another emphasis, and this time we're going to have the item shrink. It's still going to be really fast at 0.1 seconds, but the other thing I need to double check is my effect options. I want this to go back to its original size. Instead of small, which would make it smaller than it currently looks on the screen, I need it to go back to its original size. And once again, I need to come over to my triggers panel and change that trigger that Storyline created by default. Rather than when the user clicks rectangle 2, this will be when the animation completes, and the animation is that grow animation. This rectangle will now zoom onto the screen with its entrance animation, grow, and then immediately shrink. And I could just copy and paste that item and change the icon and the text that is in there, and then I would end up with my 4 cards. Animations don't have to be complicated at all. There are a lot of things that you can do with just entrance animations. Let's take a look at this slide, and then I'll show you how it works. Under the hood, those items are just animating onto the screen. The impact of it is it looks like that content is covering each other up on the screen, but it's really easy to do. This might be if you have a slide that's a little bit longer and you have a lot of content that you need to show to the learner. You can just create space on the screen and start covering those items up using entrance animations. Let's take a look at a blank version of this. Right now, all I have is the picture of this woman holding the folder. If you look down at my timeline, there is nothing else there. I want to use this space over on the right-hand side to be where I'm putting my slide content. And I'm just going to copy and paste over from my other slide. I started with a rectangle and a group of objects. And I'll copy and paste and bring those over onto this slide. And we'll paste special so that they don't do any sort of animating or have a start time. If I want those things to fly in, like they're covering up that white space, I'll just have both of them selected, come up to my Animations tab, do an entrance animation, and have those things fly in. Maybe it will take an entire second for those to appear on the screen, and we'll have those items fly in from the right. If I want to stagger those just a little bit, if I want to make sure that this background rectangle comes in first, I'll just take that group of the Employee Benefits portal and just nudge it over maybe a quarter of a second or a half a second. And I'll have these come in, we'll start them at the 1 second mark just so that when we preview this, we can see how that functionality is going to work. Now I can just keep repeating that. Again, repetition is the easiest way to make a shortcut for yourself when you're working in Storyline. I can just keep repeating that with another rectangle that's a different color and another group of items. And that's all that was happening on this screen. It's a rectangle with a group of items. If I hide everything, we can see the order that these come in. There's my rectangle, my group of items. Second rectangle, second group of items. Third rectangle, third group of items. And that folder photo, the woman holding the folder, just stayed on the screen the whole entire time. Finally, I want to show you a couple of ideas of what you can do when you just have text boxes on the screen. This slide does have a background image and it has a gradient shape over it, but most of the content is just this single text box with these three pieces of information in it, and then it has some narration. So if I play this slide, you'll see that on my seek bar, this slide is it's a minute and 33 seconds. That's a really long time for all of this content to just be on the screen. So if I were to play this,
Here are a few ways you can get from the Valencia airport to the city center. Metro. There are two underground lines which link the airport, the city center, and the port.
I'll pause that, and all the content is already on the screen. And a lot of you may already entrance animate your content to be aligned with your narration. You can just use the AI assistant in Storyline to do exactly that. If I come into the AI assistant here on the right side of my screen next to the slide, all I need to do is ask AI assistant to align my content and entrance animate it with the narration that's happening. I'll type in my prompt. Once I've written my prompt, I just need to click on that up arrow. An AI assistant has automatically done what I asked it to do. If you look over at my timeline, it has moved that text box that's on the screen. It's done entrance by paragraph. This is a single text box, and if I look up at my animations tab, it's done a float in, and it's done those things by paragraph. I didn't give it a lot of instructions. I just said float, so it chose float up. If I wanted to change this to something else or to a float down, I have that ability. But if I preview this slide, what I'll see is those items will animate
Here are a
in.
few ways you can get from the Valencia airport to the city center. Metro.
When she starts talking about the metro, that text animates in. We'll move ahead to when we should hear about the bus.
80 cents. Bus. Line 150 runs.
And I'll pause and then move up again to where we should hear about the taxi.
Taxi. Taking a taxi from the airport is the most expensive option.
Even though the words that are on my screen are not exactly the same or in the exact same order as my narration, AI Assistant still got the idea that there was metro, bus, and taxi and could automatically entrance animate those things to my slide. The last effect I want to show you also has to do with text boxes. This is that same slide. It's that slide duplicated. This time the metro, bus, and taxi information is in three separate text boxes. And the effect that I want to show you, I've already done on the metro, and then I'll show you how it works on either the bus or the taxi. So we'll click play and watch this effect first.
Here are a few ways you can get from the Valencia airport to the city center. Metro.
Hopefully what you saw was that as that Metro text box came onto the screen, not only did it do a fade entrance animation, but it moved over just very subtly from the right to the left. It's moving on a motion path and it has an entrance animation. And I'll show you how it works. Let's create that effect on our bus text box. The first thing I want to do here on my animations tab is add the entrance animation. I'm just adding a simple fade entrance animation that's 0.25 seconds long. Next, we need to create that movement, moving the text box from right to left. I already have it where I want it on the slide, so I need to work with the features of adding a motion path to get it to do what I want. First thing I'll do is add the motion path, and I'm adding a line motion path. Storyline by default wants all line motion paths to have a direction of down, a duration of 2 seconds, and a length of 180 pixels. The first thing I'll do is change the path options. I'm going to change my path option so that it's going to the right. And that's the opposite direction of where I actually want it to go. Right now, this would be starting on its green dot and ending on its red dot. But my item on the screen is already where I want it to be. So I don't want to use a left direction motion path, or it would move the whole thing over here to the left even more. But by using a right motion path, I can have it do the motion path that I want, but end in the correct place. And all I have to do is go to my path options and then reverse that path direction. It now has the end point exactly where my content already is, and then I can just change the length of the motion path. Instead of 180 pixels, I'll do something like 30, and change the duration to something shorter than 2 seconds, maybe 0.75 seconds. Now I just need to move this on my timeline to where it's supposed to go, and let's just preview the slide and see how that worked.
Here are a few ways you can get from the Valencia airport to the city center. Metro. There are two
I'll pause this and move ahead to where I expect bus to come in. Coming up pretty soon, I think.
options. Bus. Line 150 runs from the airport.
So it did that fade entrance animation, moved over slightly on its motion path. And if I want to repeat that for my taxi text box, I can take my bus text box or my metro, they both have those animations now, use my animation painter and just paint that onto my last text box and then align it where it needs to go. Those are my 5 animation tips for you in Storyline. Hopefully you picked up something that you can use when you build courses. Here at UConn Learning, we are all about making e-learning easy for everyone, so check us out at uconnlearning.com.